What is the biblical Greek for everyday difference? I know there's plenty of ways that you can go out and study language. You can actually go and study biblical Greek. What makes BGE different? Well, first, the purpose here is to study the Bible. So, most people that are studying biblical Greek or Koine Greek are actually studying to specifically study the Bible. Now, you can do a lot of this, obviously, and it is so beneficial to actually go and study the language. Here's the deal. In order to do that, it takes about 2 years of like 3 times a week study, like in a class, memorizations. You have all kinds of grammatical endings to learn and memorize. You have vocabulary to memorize. You have syntax. There's a ton of information that is there that you need to memorize and learn. Most people, that's inaccessible for them to do that, right? You also have to keep up a language. You have to continue to use it regularly in order to actually be able to study the Bible in that way and for it to be applicable to your Bible study purpose. Some people are going to do that, and that's fantastic. You should absolutely go and learn the language. However, most people can't do that. So, what do we do? How is that different at BGE? Well, instead of actually memorizing all of the material, okay, memorizing all the grammatical endings, memorizing all the vocabulary, what you are doing instead is you're going to be understanding and learning those language concepts. You're going to be learning the framework of the entire language. So, what that means practically is you're not going to be memorizing vocabulary or grammatical endings. Instead, what you are going to do is you're going to study the aorist tense. You're going to study the pluperfect tense. How does that impact when we're talking about Bible translation? How does that impact when we understand the grammatical concepts behind what's being written? How does the subjunctive mood? How does that apply? What's it make a difference between the active voice, the passive voice? What is a participle and how are those translated differently? You're going to get into a lot of those types of components that all affect Bible translation. So now you're going to be able to understand why languages are or why translations are translated in different ways, and is that actually changing the language? What's happening here? Why are there so many variants? And so we're going to go into all of that information. The primary goal of BGE is to create informed students, not language learners. So you are going to cover 2 years of intense, very focused study that you would do in a biblical language class, a biblical Greek class. And we're going to cover all of the language concepts that you would cover in that time typically. And instead, we're going to cover all of the concepts, all of the grammar framework, all of the framework of the language so that you can understand those. What are Greek cases? How does that impact our study? And then what we're going to do is we're going to use resources compiled by experts that are totally free and available online and on your phone through an app. Resources like Blue Letter Bible, Bible Hub, Logos. There's all kinds of other resources. Those aren't going away. And so how can we actually use those to the best of our ability and to become informed students and understand what we're looking at? Okay, so we're going to go through and do that. So instead of you having to memorize all those grammatical endings so you know, oh, well, that's the aorist active indicative first person singular. Instead, you are going to be able to see, oh, it says right there, that's the aorist active indicative, first person singular. And how does that impact the translation? And what does that mean? Okay, so what we are doing is we are enabling and empowering people to use this for their lifetime. Okay, I have a bookmark that's included in our study. That's a cheat sheet for all of those things. So you don't even have to necessarily have all of those concepts memorized, as long as you have a basic understanding of those grammatical concepts, and then you have a bookmark that's going to help kind of give you key words to help remember what do those things mean? How can that be applied? What does that look like? So, guys, this is the difference between biblical Greek every day and taking a biblical Greek class. So, we are creating lifelong learners. You can use this in your Bible study. Once you start to really get more comfortable with this, you can pull this information up as you're in the middle of a sermon, pull it up on your phone and look at one thing real quick and then keep listening and still be present and do that Bible study. I do that all the time. all the time. Almost every Sunday. Anytime I'm listening to something, I almost always do that and look at the Greek and see what that says. So you are going to be able to do that as well. So we have a lot of different options. We have an adult class that I teach in person as well. And that class is about 5-6 hours long, goes through all of the material and also goes through some of the scriptures. And so that we can practice some of that together before you're on your own doing it. I also have a homeschool course that is geared towards a middle and high school student. And what that is the purpose of that is that it breaks down all of that material in much smaller bites, and there's more handouts, there's more worksheets, there's more opportunity for practice, there's activities, there's games that go along with it, memory games and things like that to help memorize more of those concepts, to get some of that information in your head a little bit better. Okay. So all of those things are available. You can find that on the website, biblicalgreekforeveryday.com. Please always ask any questions if you have any of those. You can email me at biblicalgreekforeveryday@gmail.com, and I will help answer anything that you have there. So I hope this helps. I hope you can start to see what the difference is in Biblical Greek for every day.